What's your dream job? I've got a few, but one is selling ice creams on the beach. Right on the beach. Well, today's guest does exactly that, and he's been doing it on one of Australia's most famous beaches for 48 years. Before we get stuck into episode 427 of the award-winning Small Business Big Marketing Show, I think it is about time you and I met. So, if you're an Amex card holder and can make your way to Melbourne on October 17 or Sydney on November 21, 2018, then we can do exactly that. You see, I'm emceeing a fantastic free event for American Express called the Idea Exchange. Basically, it's a panel of 4 of Australia's best business minds, headed by Andrew Banks, who's one of the sharks from Shark Tank. And depending on which event you go to, other panellists include Vino Mofo's Justin Dry and Cargo Crew's Felicity Rogers, 2 past guests of this show. We'll discuss key aspects of running a small business, and you get the opportunity to ask the hard questions. And topics are going to include how to attract and retain great people, how to manage your numbers, how to turbocharge your marketing. You can go to the toilet during that session because you know that you're a listener of this show, and plenty more. Plus, you get to meet the panellists afterwards over a cheeky Pinot Grigio and a canapé or 2. Should be a lot of fun. To grab a seat, the Brisbane event is already sold out. Head over to business.americanexpress.com.au/idea exchange. And if you do come, make sure you come up and say good day.
Well, I said, welcome to a small business marketing show, where successful small business owners share their souls to take your marketing straight to the lead. Now, here's your host, Mr. Timbo Reid.
And welcome back to the Small Business Big Marketing Show. I'm your host, Timbo Reid. You, infinitely more importantly, are a motivated business owner, and you're ready to crank out some great marketing to build that beautiful business of yours into the empire it absolutely deserves to be. Big show today. We get schooled in customer service, amongst other things, by a fellow who's been selling drinks and shaved ice for 48 years on one of Australia's most popular and famous beaches. Another listener wins big in the Monster Prize draw thanks to a very, very simple landing page strategy. #genius. And this week's advertising jingle will have you waxing and polishing like you have never done before. As per usual, team, there is marketing GOLD dripping from the ceiling over here at Small Business Big Marketing's HQ. So let's get stuck right in. Righto, I reckon we launch straight into today's interview, in which I'm very excited to say I'm joined by one of my besties in Amanda Stevens, who was recently awarded the coveted title of Australia's Best Keynote Speaker of the Year. Well done, Steve-o. Love your work. And I also love having you as a co-host. She joins me as a co-host because she knows today's guest very well. So picture this. You're on Noosa Main Beach, one of Australia's most beautiful beaches. It's blistering hot on a summer's day, 35 degrees in the shade. You're thinking, geez, I'd kill for an iced bottle of cold water and a raspberry-flavoured shaved ice. You look up, and just a few metres away is a quad bike towing a couple of carriages selling exactly that, manned by a salty old fella and a couple of gorgeous women in bikinis. Oh, how incredibly politically incorrect. Well, that business actually exists. It's been going for 48 years and is called Hey Bill. And today, you're going to meet the founder, Bill Watson, who shares his insights into business longevity, customer service, embedding yourself in the local community, and plenty more. I started off by asking Bill if he ever got sick of the view.
Never. Look, I just look so forward to going down there every day, sitting there and you might say I'm meditating and working at the same time. So, like I never get sick of it. Like it changes every day. The only thing that I get disillusioned is when there's a boat in the bay. It's sort of like down at Byron Bay, and you're sitting there and you've got the island out there. You'd think a tugboat would come past and drag it away, wouldn't you?
Right. Don't get disillusioned. So tell me, let's go back all the way back to the start.
Okay.
Why? Why did you start this business 48 years ago?
Well, actually, Tim, like it was like this. I was more or less, you might say, just hanging around, and I was sleeping in the back of my car for about 7 months. And I woke up one morning and I said, geez, I better get up and start doing something. So I thought, what can I do? And being an old fruitaire from Sydney, around at Bondi Junction, we used to have fruit barrows when I was a kid. So I said, oh, look, it'd be a good chance to go up and get some oranges, and I'll sell oranges. And so that's what I did. And then somebody said, well, you know, can you get them alcoholic? I said, well, I don't know about that. So the next thing I know, like I've taken my dog up to the vet and I've asked him for a hypodermic needle. Well, he's nearly fallen over, gone, oh, geez, I don't know about that. But he did. So then I've
I've got to stop you there. What has the dog got to do with selling oranges in Bondi?
At Bondi?
Yeah.
Oh no! It gave me the idea of doing the of doing the vodka, injecting the vodka. See, so like I had to get the hypodermic off the vet.
Bill, has the sun got to you?
No, not
48
yet.
years later on the beach at Noosa.
Never.
You got sunstroke today?
No, not yet. No, but I forget where I am.
So, go back. So you come from a family of fruiters selling. You're already selling
fruits.
Generation ago. You were selling fruit out of a barrow. So now you're selling shaved ice and drinks out of a barrow.
And drinks
so
in the barrow. That's right. Not as. Well, they were all horse-drawn barrows anyway, well, like until we got rid of the horses, and then we had them around Bondi Junction and Six Waves and Taylor Square in Sydney. And
so what took you to Noosa? Did you have the idea before you left Bondi that you're going to start this?
No. Look, I actually left Sydney, or Bondi, when I was 13 and 2 weeks old. I got a special exemption out of school to leave. Well, I was actually a good student, but I didn't want to be there.
Don't make excuses.
So the next thing you know, like I'm away and I'm hitching up to Queensland.
Right.
But before I left, Mum said...
At the age of 13?
13 and 2 weeks, yes.
You're hitching?
Yeah, hitching.
Right.
Yeah, well, like I used to hitch everywhere, you know, like when I was a kid.
Bondi and Noosa's a bit lazy, 1,500 kilometres or something?
Yeah, and the guy that picked me up, we got a speeding fine at Raymond Terrace, I can remember that.
Right, okay.
Up at Newcastle.
So what we're going to do, at 13 years old, you are taking off hitchhiking, leaving the family, coming with the intention of landing in Noosa?
No.
Where were you going?
Well, I was just hitching. And then I got on
hitching to nowhere and landed in Noosa.
Hitching
We're on a road
to nowhere. and the guy that I was with, I'll never forget his name. His name was he was Greek. He was Pythagoras. His name was, and so we've gone from there. And he said, oh, look, I'm going to Noosa. I said, oh, beauty, I've never been there.
Did you say his name was Pythagoras?
Pythagoras.
Did he previously invent the triangle?
No, the trivia bloke he was.
Right. So, sorry, I'm fascinated.
Maybe he took a detour to Noosa to the side because he couldn't go in a straight line.
Yeah, you couldn't go in a straight line. Yeah.
I like that one. I knew I'd love having a co-host in you, Steve-O.
Yeah, so we've landed in Noosa and he stayed for, I don't know, a couple of weeks, I suppose. And then I was left there all by myself and I was getting scared.
Hang on, am I missing something, Amanda?
So you were 13
At
in
13.
Noosa.
13 and 2 weeks.
And you didn't know anyone here?
To get the 2 weeks, I just
You
ran
didn't
it
know
down.
anyone here?
No, I didn't know anybody at all. Didn't know anybody at all. But I'll just divert, I'll just go back a step. Well, when I was leaving, Mum said, where are you going? I said, Queensland. And she said, what's up there? And I said, I don't know, I've never been there. And she said, well, look, the only thing I can think about is, what did she say? Yeah, Surfers Paradise and Hayman Island.
Right.
I went, oh, terrific. Oh, well, there we go. So then...
Where'd you stay on your first night?
Oh, mate, on the side of the road.
Second night?
Second night, we were here.
Where?
At Noosa.
Oh no, I mean once you got to Noosa and Pythagoras.
Oh, Pythagoras!
dropped you off.
He went because I was talking to him, and he had a vision of becoming a fisherman,
A mathematician.
which he actually did, like
he was.
years later.
You hooked up with Anna Algebra?
Yes. Yes. And now you... Okay, I'll just accept that for what it is. I'm just thinking at 13. I mean, my kids are not much older, and I just don't know whether wouldn't let that happen.
Well,
but, you found somewhere to live?
Yeah, in a caravan down in Thatcher's Caravan Park, which is, they call it the Maze now, down there on Hessian Street there. That was a big caravan park.
You had a bit of dough?
About $30.
30 bucks?
Well, I don't think it was
Pounds
dollars.
sterling,
Pounds. It didn't come in at 66. But, well, whatever it was in pounds, yeah. So the next thing I know, like, I was there for about 7 or 8 weeks, and then there was a knock on the door. And I've opened up the caravan door, and there they were. There was Old Man Thatcher and Sergeant Pascoe. And the next thing he said, "Oh, hello, son." I said, "Oh, hello there." I said, "What can I do?" And he said, "Mate," he said, "have you got any rent for Mr. Thatcher?" I went, "Rent? Do I have to pay rent?"
Thought the whole thing was free.
Thought it was all free, mate. I was free.
Kids under 15 are normally free.
Yeah, that's right. Correct.
Yeah, so I stood there in horror, of course, and then the next thing I saw, well, look, I better go.
Yeah, you're just pushing your phone button, no? Doesn't matter, we're away. Keep going.
No, it's off.
That's all right.
Just say the next thing, yeah.
So, like, the next thing, back in those days, there was no emails or anything, of course. So, like, I sent a telegram at great expense. And a couple of days later, another telegram arrived with a postal thing in it.
Yeah.
So, and then I cashed it in there. And
From Mum? Mum sent you some money?
Yeah, and she sent me $50, we'll call it that. And so I've looked at the $50, and I've looked across the road to my caravan, and I said, "I'm out of here.
I'm out of here.
Don't worry about paying the rent. No, I'm off." So I went straight across to the van and picked up my bag and back up on the highway, and I hit to Darwin.
Darwin?
All the way to Darwin. It took me a week.
Well, for overseas listeners, that is a long way, basically. We're talking thousands of kilometres.
Yeah.
And, okay, so let's get back to Hey Bill, because we could go on for your travel journey forever. At what point did Hey Bill become an idea?
Hey Bill, when I was sleeping in the back of my car in Noosa Heads, of course, and I was living in the back of the car for 7 months.
You'd come back here?
Yeah, I'd come back here from Darwin, 1960, Christmas 1968. 68. And I was 8 months old. What about you?
Not even.
Not even?
Not even.
Weren't even in consideration?
No, not for a long time.
Right.
Long time.
Then I was just sleeping in the back of the car, and I thought, oh, look, I better do something. And then that's where the fruitier business come into it. And so I went over to Taunton, got a box of oranges, 88s, I can remember, because I used to sell fruit.
The old 88s, eh?
The old 88s.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, that's 88 oranges to the case. No.
88 oranges.
To
That's
the
what I
colour.
think. Just a number, Tim. That's how many oranges
That's the number.
I've noticed Bill already is very specific. You know, he's 13 in 2 weeks when he moved from Bondi.
Bondi, yeah.
88s, the oranges.
The oranges.
Must have been that time he spent with the mathematician, I think.
Yeah, like on the way up there.
Pythagoras will do that to you.
And find the speed out.
You only have to
and then I went from there and I went over and got a box of 88s and I come back and then I got a hessian bag off him, like an old hessian carrot bag. And
was it a carrot bag or was it a hessian bag?
No, a carrot bag. No, not a carrot.
I got it. Yeah.
And so, like, the next thing I know, I'm off selling oranges.
Right.
So then I teamed up with another guy called Steve Varco. He was the first chef that I'd ever met. A real solid, it'd be like meeting John Lennon or something, He was a professional. So the next thing...
Probably wouldn't be like meeting John Lennon.
That
would be amazing. And this bloke was just a chef.
Yeah, he was a chef, but he was a good chef, Steve Varco.
And this was before chefs were famous too.
Yeah.
No celebrity chefs back then?
No, mate, that wasn't right. So, like, the next thing you know, so he used to come around with me, walking around to Alexander Bay, and we used to hang around the nude and and do all that.
That's inappropriate, Bill. I mean, this is a family show.
Well, is it?
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing wrong with it. Oh, well, like I say...
You had a loincloth on.
Yeah, well, like I can say,
the
well,
hessian
we were all
bag.
walking around in our birthday suits. I'll reframe that. We were in our birthday suits. And so then we just used to hang around with all the other people in their birthday suits. And then I'd sell all the oranges. So then I'd come back and I'd load up again out of the car, and one of the guys said, geez, it'd be good if they were cold. I went, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Where am I going to get a fridge from? So I ran into a local real estate agent, which was known Bob Best, and he owned Noosa Real Estate. There was the only one there at the time, apart from Dan Grimes. And...
Don't worry about your phone, Bill. It'll...
No.
I know it's not a smartphone, that one. It's a sort of an old Nokia. What would it be, 12 years old?
Yeah, it's a Zeet.
A Zeet, is it? Right. Okay. Yeah, so you've met this bloke. He wanted cold oranges, all good. Hey Bill is born. I don't think anyone would know that Hey Bill was born out of a nudist colony.
No, well, that's, it's just one of those things that, that turned everybody on.
I'd probably use a different turn of phrase, Bill. When
we're walking around with a hessian bag over your shoulder full of oranges, and then, the old fellas hanging out, wobbling, they're all going, mate, what about this? And then one guy was up in the crevice of the rocks. No, this is fair. Yeah. He was up in the crevice of the rocks. Next thing you know, he sang out, hey, Bill. And Steve Varco said to me, he said, what a good name.
What a great name.
What a name.
So now we've learned already that born out of a nudist colony, and the names come from some dirty old bugger up in the rocks.
Yeah, up in the view of the rock. He was up there with a little old cup. Like the water used to trickle down, and everybody used to go in there with no clothes on and sip it like champagne.
Honestly, this is a very serious marketing show, Bill. We might people listen to
sorry about that.
Grow their businesses and thrive. Well, anyway, where were we? On the nudist beach?
Yeah, we're on the nudist beach. So, and that's how I was born. Hey Bill was born at Alexander Bay with no clothes on.
Right, okay. So you had to then bring that idea back down to Noosa Main Beach and put some clothes on.
That's right.
Put the loincloth back on.
That's right.
And the first iteration of Hey Bill on Noosa Main Beach was what? A cart? Wasn't a quad bike with two carriages, I'm guessing?
No, it was still the hessian bag there for quite a while.
Ah.
And just oranges? When did you diversify?
Yeah, just oranges, yeah, just oranges.
The old 88s.
The old 88s, you've got to have them, they're the right size, So the next thing you know, I'm injecting with vodka, and I tell you, I started to make money because I was charging 20 cents, or 20 cents now, in those days, and I'd put my hand out and I'd be shaking like this. So they'd say, how much? 20 cents? So then towards the end of the day, they'd be all on their hands and knees following me up. But you got in more oranges. You got another orange there, Billy?
So only selling to the over 18s, of course.
Oh, yeah,
anyone?
No, the kids,
Kids loved them. They injected with vodka.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have known.
This is before the liquor license.
The original, what are they, Elko Pops? Doesn't one of your girls who work for you, father owns
it? Yeah.
Elko Pops?
Elko Pops, yeah.
It's all just a circle, this whole thing, isn't it?
Look, it's all evolved.
It's a circle of nudity and underage drinking.
Underage drinking.
Oh, God.
Blokes in cracks.
Yeah, no cracks.
It's not where I expected this interview to go, Bill.
No,
Goodness me.
I can clean it up straight away.
So, Bill, the question I want to know is obviously being growing up in Noosa and seeing Hey Bill is back then it was an iconic brand. Did you have any idea that it was going to have the longevity that it has?
Look, that's one of the questions I've been trying to answer myself. No, look, I didn't have any idea in the world that this was ever going to be as far as I've come.
Your life,
today.
your life's work.
Yeah, my life's work, and so and I just have to enjoy it as long as it is, So yeah.
Sitting with a fellow with Bill yesterday on the beach, talking about your life's work and leaving a legacy, and he made a pretty good point. This fellow Michael that we were talking to.
Oh yes, Michael. Yeah.
And he said, we're all here. Somehow we got talking about life after death, or previous and future lives. And he said, the only way to have a future life is by leaving a legacy, and we can all have a future life by leaving a legacy. I mean, you've probably done that. You've probably ticked that box.
Well, I've heard rumours that they're going to dip me in bronze and put me out on the middle groin with a solar shaved ice that turns colours of the night.
Are you being serious?
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, and like I'd be
A
out
statue.
in the middle, a statue of me like Wally, and but like I'll be out there like hay billing it.
Would you be nude though? Because
No.
they'd want to nod to
no,
your
not
history.
nude. Oh no, not these days. Oh, geez,
Oh,
no.
jeez. Honestly.
Not
Not a
pretty.
nod to
If you
history.
go
They're
to-
doing a modern version of paper.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Little place to hang your towel.
Yeah.
You could do
Yeah, like a towel.
towel. So let's fast forward because you've had 48 years later.
Yeah.
Like, well done on that.
Yeah, thank you.
You must have. Was there ever a point where you thought maybe this is what I am going to do for the rest of my life, or are you still waiting for that?
Yeah, I'm still waiting for it. This is what I'm going to do. Well, like I've got to start thinking about it soon because
Yes.
yeah. Well, like I'm chasing 70 now. Like
Oh, yeah.
I don't look like I'm 70.
Oh no, you don't.
No, you
you
look like
don't.
you're 90.
No.
But, jeez. So have you got? Let's talk
long
about.
journey.
So there's not a point where you've gone. This is what I'm going to do. It was just always day in, day out.
Yeah,
Just kept doing it.
and look, and the whole of the same of the, like I started off in its infancy, and then it grew up and matured, and here it is today. Like in what I've done in the business is just mind-boggling. So I've gone from oranges, and then they've invented plastic, and then I'm selling orange juice, and then I'm making salad rolls, putting them in Glad bag. Like before, I used to have the greaseproof paper and everything and all this. And then Calypso invented the plastic cup.
Yes.
And then they invented the styrene foam. Then, carrying orange things, and then all these boxes and cups and all sorts of things, like over the years. And then when they were building Noosa, I was doing all the workmen, like all over the Noosa Sound.
Oh, you were actually going beyond the beach and servicing.
I'd go out of a morning, and then I'd deliver, I'd pick up all of the menus, like around all the building sites, because I made this really nice menu, and I left paper bags there. The same thing at school. You remember, you put your money in there and you wrote on the bag what it was, and so that's what they do. But they'd give me the menu with the tick, tick, tick,
very
of whatever
clever.
they want. And so I went from there. So, like, I was doing that for years.
So the modern iteration of Hey Bill right now, as I said at the top of the program, is a quad bike on the main beach at Noosa with two
right.
carriages selling coffee, iced, shaved ice, water, soft drinks.
Yeah.
You got one on the hot days that goes along the foreshore
Sure.
as well, up and down
Yeah.
the beach.
That's right.
How long's that been? How long's that current version of the business been going?
That's about when we amalgamated. So we've been amalgamated. Well, we're amalgamated.
What's
for two-
amalgamated mean? You mean
Well, that
council?
was, that was
Right.
the two councils combined. Probably the second one. Probably about 6 or 7 years.
Okay.
I suppose. Yeah.
All right. So what have we learnt, Bill, about people? Because I sat with you for 4 hours yesterday on that beach, and you just constantly interact. It's non-stop, and that was a relatively quiet day.
Look, the amazing thing about working with the public and being in business, and you focus on them. Like I look them straight in the eye. So I say, well, what would you like? Like a lot of people look down and start looking up. Like particularly if they've got bikinis on. So. So, like, the next thing, where was I again?
What do you learn about people?
Oh, yes.
Customer service. It's a
customer
big one. I
service.
mean, we are being listened to by a lot of small business owners, and people and customer service is a bit of a bugbear for many.
Well,
You seem to do it with a flair.
with a flair. Well, I've always had talked to people, doesn't matter how silly they are or whatever, because I could learn something off them. And the other thing is to always smile and keep nodding my head. And that's what I've done all this time for all these years. And I feel I've been very successful. But it's people have come to you to be served, and they say, I'd like this product, geez, that was good. And then their interaction with me to say that, look, that's the best thing that I've ever had, it makes them want to, stay there longer and work harder, you know what I mean? So,
And that is the thing about you, Bill, is you've been very consistent. Like, you are an iconic part of Noosa. A lot of people wouldn't know that.
No.
But you are an iconic part of Noosa. But when I watch you now, you're as humble and interested and curious about the public as you were 30 years ago. So has there ever been a point where you realised that Hey Bill was a big deal and you perhaps got a little bit too big for your boots, or have you just always...
No, that's a good question, actually, no.
Like, have you ever felt the danger of it letting it get to your head a little bit? Because you have become an iconic brand.
Yeah, that's a good question. No, like, I've never looked at it that way. Like, I've looked at it as just doing one step after another and sort of, like, I seem to walk into these, well, it's not a situation, but I walk into this timing of my life and everything goes well. Like, I promote, like, in my own way. I made probably Noosa famous back in the old days, where I used to do all of the promotional work for them. Like, I used to do all the TV, radio, and
you were an ambassador before they had ambassadors. Goodness,
he was an influencer.
He was an influencer.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Goodness
Influencer.
me. Hey, listen, just going back to people, because I sat with you yesterday, and I'm interested in how do you handle difficult customers? Because yesterday you had a difficult customer. I won't say the nationality, but you had a large group, a family, about 7 of them. They came up. The order was $32.50.
Yeah.
You gave him 50 cents off. Just a bit of a laugh, I suppose.
That was $2.50.
Well, in the end, he said, "How about $2.50?"
$2.50.
So you gave him 30. It was 30. Rounded it down to $30.
Yeah,
Pythagoras would have been shocked.
He would have been straight on the...
So happy days. They go off. They're enjoying their shaved ices.
Yeah.
Then they come back and want syrup top up after syrup top up.
Yeah, like they just want a little bit more for their money.
More.
Like, as I was saying to another learned colleague of mine there that was sitting down there with me yesterday, Tim, was, mate, they'd want, like, could you put more in the beer glass?
You wouldn't at a pub go and drink half a beer and say, "Can you fill that up, mate?"
Fill it up, yeah. I just go, yeah, okay, because like they have spent like $30.
Yes.
Well, actually, it was $32.50, and you get a free bottle of water, like a tawley, and they had four of the items that I give the water away with. So I said, "Oh, look, I'll give you 2 bottles of water." No, like, we'll take one. So then it all, see, like, they try and get you confused.
Right.
And you say, "Oh, hang on, did I or didn't I? Or did I add that up right?" No, but everything's tickety-boo because they're as quick off the mark. That family was that quick.
Yeah, they were pretty quick.
They probably had a calculator in their pocket, And so every work it all worked out tickety-boo.
What's your view on, is the customer always right or not?
Well, yes.
But you told me a story yesterday about where you refused to serve.
Oh, yes, as being a sole trader, yes. Yeah.
No, well, it wasn't to do with the fact you're a sole trader. It was to do with the fact that, I can't remember, the little girl caused you a bit of pain. This wasn't yesterday, but you're telling me a story.
No, about the Russians.
I don't know what nationality they were.
Yeah, they were Russians, yeah.
What happened there?
Russian here and Russian there, Russian nowhere. Well, what happened there is I was serving away, and then the 2 young kids come up. They've ordered. I've given them the product, which I take pride in, and they took a couple of mouthfuls, sucked on a straw, and they said, "Oh no, we don't want this. We want something else." I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "Well, who's going to pay for this?" And they went, "Oh, I don't know." So I've just topped it up and given it away to a couple of other kids. So the next thing you know, they've walked away.
Health and what is it? Health and hygiene, occupational health and safety. Yeah, keep going.
So then, and then I looked over there, and they've gone over there and told another member of the family, and then she's come back, and the older daughter's come back and says, "Oh, look, I'd like 3 of these and all that." And I said, "Are they your family?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "Oh, well, I'm not serving you either." And she went, "Oh." So then she's walked over, and I've kept an eye on her because I've got all these other people there, and I'm serving away. And then Mum's come over, and she's walked over and said, I said, "Yes." And she said, "Oh, could I have 5 of these?" I said, "Is that your family over there?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, I'm not serving you either." And she looked at me like that. So then the next thing, like in the afternoon, the council rang up, and they go, "Billy, what have you done?" "Mate, we've got this Cossack over here, he's dancing on the table,
They complained to the council because you wouldn't serve them.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, like, to cut a long story short, like, he put a discriminatory case on me. So 6 weeks later, well, like, I was warned that he was going to do it.
What case, sorry?
A discriminatory case. Yeah, because he
yeah.
was Russian. I'm a first fleeter Australian, and I'm not allowed to say anything. I've got to zip my mouth up. And the next thing... These paperwork's arrived from the Department of
You are in
discrimination.
trouble. You are in trouble.
I was in trouble. Geez, I tell you what. Phew. So then I've read it all and went, So then I rung up the gentleman on the bottom of the page there, and I've explained things to him. He said, don't worry about it. And,
there you go.
Yeah, and that was
sorted.
Yeah, all sorted.
Hello to all you Russian listeners.
Don't give me a hard time.
Bill, I want to ask you about the time that you expanded the brand, because it's an iconically Noosa brand, and a lot of brands, when they become iconic in a certain area, successfully expand or franchise to other areas. You made the decision that you were going to expand to Bondi.
Yeah.
Tell us about that and why you decided to retract.
It was... I thought it'd be a good thing to actually expand. Then, as I did, it was probably a mistake that I made, because being so far away and not knowing much about franchising and all this sort of stuff, I was trying to run the two businesses. And back in those days, to fly from Noosa to Sydney, you nearly had to go and rob a bank to get up and down. It was really expensive at the time. So that lasted for 3 years.
What made you think it was a good idea? You had a bit of expansion. You thought, hey, I'm doing okay in Noosa. Maybe I could replicate this
Bondi,
down in Bondi, which is another classic Aussie beach.
Yeah. And so I just said, look, I'll give it a go. And I went down there and I put the proposition towards the Waverley Council, which no one had ever done before. And they said yes. And I went, oh, God. Wow. Geez, I better get my act together. So the next thing you know, I'm on Bondi for 3 years, and I could hardly wait to get out of there.
What'd you do, put a manager in, or...?
No, I actually had a couple of my girls that were working up here with me, and so we set them up in Sydney, at Bondi, and... unfortunately, they'd look out the window and see a cloud and they wouldn't go there. And all
girls are like that, aren't they?
Yeah, all sort of,
Hey, Amanda, can you ask Bill, because I don't want to be the dirty bloke in the corner.
Yeah.
Can you ask Bill about his employment policy, please?
I think, if you've ever been to Noosa and seen Hey Bill, you'd know that he has a specific type of recruitment.
What would that be?
Strategy, similar to Virgin Airlines, I would imagine.
Yeah.
If you get my drift.
I do.
Yeah, so what...
a few of my girls, sorry, Amanda, a few of my girls have gone to Virgin.
Have they?
Yeah, Virgin
would be an obvious
Airlines
stepping stone for them.
Maybe it's you're a career move. You want to be cabin crew at Virgin Airlines, of which this show is on, by the way.
Okay.
Do your internship.
Do your internship with Bill.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Well, look, it's funny you should say that, because a few years ago, quite a few years ago, when the girls would leave, I'd write them a resume, and we call it the Hey Bill School of Life. So the next thing, the phone rings one day, and it's a placement company for Virgin. Oh, Mr. Watson, Bill Watson. I said, yes. Oh, look, we've got a couple of your girls from Noosa out here, and they're doing quite well, and all this sort of stuff, and we were wondering, because they're all really trained well, like personalities and stuff. And I said, oh, yeah, well, okay, well, that's good news. And they said, yeah, look, here on the resume, it said that they've done their final thing at Hey Bill School of Life. I said, yeah. And they said, well, look, we were wondering if we could send some girls up.
Oh, hello.
Hello, I said.
Of course you can.
Of
course you can.
Oh, yeah, well, I said yes, but look, unfortunately, the next couple of years, I'm completely booked out.
Yeah, the curriculum's, it's just...
It's intense.
Yeah, very intense.
Yes.
Very intense.
Yeah.
So...
and you're a strict
very
master, headmaster.
No, but it was good, to use that.
You're trying to figure out, Amanda, how to use the word spanking, but don't, because, again, a family show.
Not at all.
So have you interrogated him enough about the employment policy?
Yeah, well, the question I want to ask is, that a lot of business owners struggle with is, does sex sell? Because you obviously employ very good-looking, attractive assistants who man the Hey Bill stand and work with you. That's a well-known fact.
Yeah.
Does sex sell? Do you think it enhances the performance of the business?
No.
Oh, Bill.
It's just for his benefit.
No, truly, no, it doesn't. No.
Can you look every listener in the eye and just
I
give me that? No,
I can look them all in the eye. But the thing is with it is that the girls get discovered.
Oh, you're doing it for
Yeah,
them. I
I'm
didn't
doing it for
realise
them.
that it was a charity.
It's a community service,
It's a community
Timbo.
service.
But most of the girls now are top models, and they're flying Virgin.
Yeah.
One of them's in the opposition.
Qantas?
Emirates. And Jodie, like she owns the Yamaha racing team. Oh God, they're all out
Well,
there.
it's a noble thing that you're doing, Bill. I didn't realise
But
that you're
they get
employing
discovered.
beautiful women in bikinis to serve your shaved eyes
Yep.
as a way to help them with their career.
Community
Thank you for
service,
that.
Timbo.
Well, look,
He's,
Yeah.
I must say, I supplied them with shirts.
Oh.
Not dirty ones.
Yeah.
Shirts, sunscreen. They've got to supply their own glasses. Like we can go to the fashion shop and get hats.
Yep.
But it's a waste of time.
Why don't you have uniforms?
Well, they are the uniform.
Oh, well, you got it. Yeah, you have long sleeve t-shirt.
Yeah,
yes.
like a long sleeve, and then seeing the girls like.
But the
they're
girls,
sort of like,
every time I've seen the girls past couple of weeks,
Yeah.
none of them they've either had a bikini on or something, not a uniform, not that.
No.
Not
and
that
you're
type.
interested in that, Timbo. Is that why you've been back several times throughout the
look,
day just to check that they're still wearing the bikini?
I have interviewed a lady who owns a uniform company called Cargo Crew, so I have a particular interest in corporate uniforms as a strategy in marketing. That Amanda, I don't know why you have that wry smile on your face.
No, but
when
just
I'm,
that you know that they're always wearing bikinis because you must go back several times a day just to double check that.
So, Bill, the Hey Bill business. Tell me about embedding yourself, because embedding yourself in the local community. A lot of businesses, and I think a lot of retail, a lot of local businesses don't do this very well. And yet it's such a good marketing strategy. If you're a local business, why you wouldn't? Now, you got to run upstart because of the nature of your business. You're kind of right there amongst the community. What else do you do to be community-minded and get the name out there?
Well, when in my younger days, I was doing more like as promotions. Then I'd be giving away like holidays or prizes. And
Really?
I used to be Captain Noosa, and they used to join the Captain Noosa Club, and like they'd win T-shirts and they win trips up the beach.
Who's they?
Well, the customers.
The customers.
Yeah, well,
but they're transient. They're coming and going. They're tourists.
they're coming and going.
Is there any benefit in you, I don't know, being on the local Chamber of Commerce or doing anything that kind of embeds you locally or not?
No, I'm just in the Hessian Association because that's sort of down in my little patch there. So, like, I barrack for all of the other association, but I like to look after my little patch, which is only 750 metres long, which is the main street. And we seem to be doing fine, and that's where I concentrate on what I'm actually promoting. Like, I'm promoting myself. If anybody's got a product, they can wake it up there for a couple of days or whatever the case.
Right. What about competition? Anyone tried to come along and knock you off?
Competition? No.
No one?
No. No one come along.
Why?
I'm so happy that somebody wants to have a go. And mainly it's, I tell you who always has a go every year, the Jewish soldiers that have finished their 2 years combat training in Israel.
Right.
Well,
This is very specific, Bill.
yeah,
Keep going.
because they come out, they can go to New Zealand, Australia or America.
Right.
Okay. So a lot of them choose to come here, and then they're down the beach. We'll make some money. We'll go and buy some poppers and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, fine. But as long as you work behind me, you're not working in front of me, because people think that they're a part of my business.
Oh, yes.
By going along selling things in front. But I say, look, you can come down as often as you like, but work behind. Don't come in
So
front.
when you see a Jewish soldier who's just come out of 2 years of combat training, do you get nervous?
No, they're lucky to be out.
They're lucky to be out.
They're lucky to be out there too, I tell you, mate. Yeah.
Stay out of the sun, kids. Stay out of the sun.
Stay out of the sun. So like nothing really, affects me down there, really, like if somebody comes along. The only thing that irritates me is that when we have a local event and they bring people from out of town. That's my only pet hate.
What do you mean?
Well,
who are they bringing out of town?
Well, just say like they have like the food and wine's okay and all that, but we'll just say the triathlon, okay, over the last 30-odd years, is I haven't been able to get in there. No, they won't let me in. Okay. So now I'm on the beach. Now they've changed the goalpost, so they're all swimming from the water, from the beach now. And now I can't get in there, and now they come over there and say, well, you've got to move, Billy. Mm-hmm. So this has been going on for years.
And probably increasingly so as Noosa is now there's something going on nearly every weekend. It's not just the triathlon and the Food and Wine Festival now, it's the surfing.
It's something else.
Yep.
And I tried to register a name called the non-event weekend. To no avail, I can tell you. There wasn't one day
the non-festival
we could not
weekend.
do anything.
But surely an event, I mean, Noosa is certainly, it's one of the key holiday destinations in Australia. There is something on every week. That's got to be good for your business.
No.
How?
No, it's the worst thing in the world, because the real people that want to come here for the day or the weekend or
Stay away.
the week, they all stay away. Because you've got everybody running around and like receipts and running up and down the street and all that sort of stuff.
Triathletes don't eat shaved ice with syrup.
With syrup on it, yeah.
It's not their thing.
But they
They're
do go and eat
balls.
plenty of carb ups.
Well, speaking of that, your product mix changed over the years. You've gone from the 88s in the early days right through to these days. You just got shaved ice, cans of drink and coffee.
Yeah.
What thought do you put into what you could be selling? Because I'll give you an example. I mean, a lot of young private school girls on Noosa Main Beach haven't noticed any, Amanda. I just look at the demographic
just looked at the
profiling that the
tourist
council puts
reports.
out. They would be into protein balls and, what is all these other...
Acai bowls.
Acai bowls.
Yeah.
You haven't got any of that?
No. I just leave that to the people that know how to do it.
Right. Stick to what you're good at.
Yeah.
What are you really, really good at, Bill?
Talking.
Yeah.
Talking and being happy, waking up every day. That's what
I love that.
I don't want to do anything else.
Love that. Talking, being happy and waking up every day. That's on the marketing plan.
And also, I mean, you talk about helpful marketing, Timbo. The thing about Bill is that people are drawn like a magnet to him, even if they don't realise how iconic he is. He's always helping out with information, tips, tricks, sharing his knowledge and extensive understanding of Noosa with customers. And I think that is a passion and a level of energy that has not wavered, or certainly I haven't seen waver in 30-something years.
Nice.
And I think that's part of the magic of your business, is that even at the end of the day, what you're really selling is shaved ice with some syrup on it. Yeah. The reason people come to you, the reason they come back, and the reason that you have such a huge, following and fan base is that Hey Bill guy was just a really nice helpful guy.
Yeah.
Well, that's a nice way to finish. Bill, any last words?
Look, everybody out there that I'm talking to today, I hope you can really understand this, and I hope it goes into many languages. But look, I want to really thank everybody out there. And
this is not a farewell speech. I'm just trying.
To
close the interview, mate.
Yeah, just close it up. And look, and I hope I see all of the people that I'm talking to at some stage of their lives, and come on back to Noosa, and I'll be glad to see you here.
Come to Noosa and say hi to Hey Bill.
Yeah, come and say, hey Bill.
Hey Bill, thank you. Well, there you go, team. Hey Bill's Bill Watson from Noosa Main Beach. What a character. Now, I, along with my co-host Amanda, are going to share our top 3 attention grabbers from that chat with Bill, thanks to American Express. So I'm going to hand over to Steve-O, or I should say Amanda. Top 3 attention grabbers. What grabbed your attention?
For me, it was a pretty out there interview. It's probably the craziest one yet. Probably stay out of the sun would be my number one.
Don't drink vodka oranges and stay out of the sun. Wear a hat.
Crazy. I think in all of that craziness, one of the lessons was be willing to diversify and change your business model. I mean, he's tried a lot of different things over the years, and he's at a point now at 48 years in that he's just focused on really 3 key things: shaved ice, bottled water and coffee, and doing really well. He's a sustainable business just with 3 items. So I think the lesson there is focus in on
Yes.
what you know you're good at and what works.
Yeah. And in fact, talking to him yesterday, he was even thinking about getting rid of the coffee, just really drilling down. I mean, hot day, shaved ice or a cold water, that's all you want. Attention grab at number 2. For me, it was just his positive approach. Now, you could easily say, well, it's all right for him to be positive. He's on the most beautiful beach in Australia with the most beautiful view and he's just out in the sun the whole time. And that would have a lot to do with it. But he has got a very positive nature about him. He loves what he does and therefore keeps doing it.
And he's consistent, and he is. I mean, I know this because I've known him for all my life.
Yes.
I
should have said up front, actually, you're a Noosa native.
Yeah. So I grew up with Hey Bill, and even back then, in the 80s, he was iconic.
Wow.
He's been iconic a really long time, and I think that was the interesting part for me was chatting to him. It would be very easy for him to get a big head because he is such an iconic brand, and you talk to him, he's just as humble and friendly and helpful as he was 35 years ago.
Incredibly so. Did you ever have a chance to be a Hey Bill girl when you came of age?
I didn't. I don't know why. I don't think I ever had the opportunity or asked him, but yeah.
Attention grab at number 3.
Attention grabber number 3.
You've had attention grabbers. You got nothing.
I've got nothing.
I think, again, his approach, he said customers always right, and I kind of challenged him on that. I think he maybe said that. He said that out of politeness, but seeing him yesterday and hearing a couple of stories he's told, I don't think the customer is always right with Bill, and he sort of stands his ground a bit.
So, definitely. I think definitely.
What do you think? You're a marketing chick. You've been in retail for a long time and all that stuff. What do you think about that whole notion of the customer's always right?
I think the customer, if you are customer focused in your business and you're clear on what you stand for, what you offer and what you deliver is value, then I think there are scenarios where you need to say, no, I'm perhaps not the right business for you. And the story that he, the example he gave was great. The other one for me, my third one would have to be, him expanding into Bondi and then retracting and actually knowing when to call it. And he gave it a good go. I mean, on paper, that looked like a really smart move given that he got the
biggest tourist beach in the world.
Exactly.
In Australia.
If you can make it work in Noosa, why wouldn't you make it work in Bondi? And he got the permit. That all lined up for him, and obviously he made a decision that was probably a lifestyle decision for him. I can imagine that the Hey Bill business in Bondi was probably okay financially, but for him it was spreading himself too thin, and he's ultimately happier and more profitable just being Hey Bill Noosa.
One thing he did tell me yesterday, and didn't mention this today in the interview today, was that the clientele in Bondi were a lot harder work. So again, he's made a decision based on, he doesn't need to build an empire. He wants to be happy, and he doesn't want to work with people who are, miserable or making it hard for him. So, well, that's what grabbed our attention, everyone. If you would like to share what grabbed yours, you can head over to smallbusinessbigmarketing.com/427. But right now, let's see what this button does.
Come on down. It's Timbo's Monster Prize Draw.
Oh, yes, indeedly doodly. It's time to reward a motivated listener for taking some swift marketing action. To enter, it's really simple. You send me an email, tim@timreid.com.au, telling me one idea you've implemented from listening to this show and what impact it's had on your business. Keep it simple, but I'm really keen to understand the impact the idea's had. If I read it out on air, you'll receive a prize or 3 and go into the draw to win a hot lap in a racing Porsche with past guest and racing car legend Steve Richards, and that's valued at $2,500. And I'll announce the winner of the best email I receive later this year. Okay, today's winner is Shelby Honberg from Bohemian Bucket Hats. And she says, "Hey Timbo, hey Shelby, massive fan of the show. I'm in the process of starting my own brand called Bohemian Bucket Hats. I had set up an Instagram page over a year ago to see what images gained likes and were worth basing my hats on. After listening to your show on Grace the Vintage Ice Cream Truck," that was a good one, with Scott Kilmartin, "I set up a landing page for my hats to gain a waiting list for when I launch later in the year. A fantastic idea, and it solved the problem of not wanting to start paying for a website, as I still don't have a physical product as of yet. Cheers, Shelby. That's a great idea. I went across to the landing page. Really simple. It just says coming soon. Sign up so you don't miss out. Launching just in time for summer. Bohemian bucket hats, guaranteed to be the latest trend to hit your heads. And she's just asking for an email address in return for VIP details and discounts. Really, really simple. Didn't have a website to go straight up, so getting a cheap landing page. And I noticed she's probably done it for free using MailChimp. So incredibly clever. Well done, Shelby. You have won, as a result of that, a pass to the Amex Lounge at the Sydney or Melbourne International Airport. That's valued at $33. A Carmen's Muesli pack. That's valued at $60. And a backlink on the Small Business Big Marketing website, which I think, we'll call that priceless. Well, that's it for another week of the Monster Prize Draw. Be sure to send me your entry to tim@timreid.com.au. Righto, I think it's time for this week's advertising jingle of the week. This one I remember as a little kid growing up, seeing it on the black and white telly. It dates back all the way to 1974, and it's a TV ad and jingle for the cleaning spray, Mr. Sheen.
Where does all this dust come from?
That's a job for Mr. Sheen.
Oh, Mr. Sheen, oh, Mr. Sheen, today's the day to make the house all clean. From the table to the chair and woodwork everywhere.
Wax and polish as you dust with Mr. Sheen. Oh, what a sparkle!
Oh, what a sheen!
Protects the fridge and saves your new machine.
Finger marks around the door.
Venetian blinds, what's more? Wax and polish as you dust with Mr. Sheen.
Wax and polish as you dust with Mr. Sheen.
Then there's the phone.
And all the chrome.
Even Laminex comes sparkling clean.
Or an instant mirror sheen to everything you clean.
Wax and polish as you dust with Mr. Sheen.
Wax and polish as you dust with Mr. Sheen.
Oh, I love that. I love how jingles sort of take you way back. I don't know about you, but it's a lost art, the old jingle. That's why I love this segment so much. And that one in particular, in fact, all of them that I've played over the last few weeks have always taken me back to a better place, if you know what I mean. You can watch that ad, the whole ad, over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com/427. Well, that almost wraps up another episode of your favourite award-winning marketing podcast, the Small Business Big Marketing Show. If you're new to the show, you'll find my entire back catalogue of interviews over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com, along with a free transcription of almost every one of those interviews, so you can print it out and scribble all over it with your notes and ideas. I'd love to hear from you. You can hit the contact button over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com, where we can interact, connect on social media. Maybe you've got someone you'd like me to interview. And I hope you can make it to the American Express Ideas Exchange in Melbourne or Sydney. I'd really love to meet you. So grab your free seat if you're an American Express card holder over at business.americanexpress.com.au/idea exchange. If you love the Small Business Big Marketing Show, why wouldn't you, hey? Then let another business owner know. Just grab their phone, open up the podcast app, look for Small Business Big Marketing, hit subscribe, hand the phone back to them. Do that 10 times a week. Love you forever. Until next week, I'm Timbo Reid. Thanks for tuning in. May your marketing be the absolute best marketing. Bye for now.